Good evening. I would like to call to order the meeting of the Niles Main District Library's Personnel Committee on Wednesday, February 11th at 7:02 p.m. Treasurer Botello?
Present.
Trustee Shaler?
Present.
President Keen's present here. Also is
Valerie
attendance.
Marshall, Executive Director.
Cassandra Henwood, HR Manager.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Were there any public comments that you received?
No.
Okay, and there's no one here in person to give public comment. So the next agenda item is to continue the review of the policy manual. And I believe that you guys went through up to page 33 last time.
We went through the standards of conduct section,
Okay.
which was, yes, up to page 33, but we did not review page 33 itself.
Okay. All right, so
Or we started to,
I
but
was not here last time. Did you guys just kind of, and I'm maybe not remembering from the first meeting, but we going through page by page, or are we just going to skip to where we had questions or comments, or how do you guys want to?
I think the last time we just skipped to questions and comments.
Okay. All right. So in my copy has different page numbers.
Because I moved things around
Okay.
based on the last meeting.
All right, so you did get through standards of conduct.
We did.
All right, so compensation and timekeeping is the next
Mhm.
section. Does anyone have any questions or comments on compensation and timekeeping?
We did talk at the last meeting, or Treasurer Botello talked at the last meeting about potentially considering having one contact phone line for staff if they were calling in. We haven't had any reported concerns about that, but I think it was something we were gonna bring to the full board. Is that what you were recommending?
Right. If that's something that would be feasible.
Can you just give me an
Yeah,
idea what that is?
so generally what happens is that some organizations that have centralized attendance, they have one number to when people are coming in late or calling off. And the reason why is because it creates an opportunity for managers to have all the information in one location when you have to move staff from one area to another. So it makes it easier when the calls come into one number.
Okay.
But, that, I mean, if the system that's been working has been fine, it's not something that's...
Is that
it's of
something
high-
that's usually in a larger organization, or it doesn't matter the size?
Yes, I've seen it mostly in the larger organizations that I've experienced. But again, I just go back to the point that if it's the system that's here has worked well over the years, then we'll keep working with what we have.
Gotcha.
And the leadership team, when we have talked about this, it's been a couple months now, but they said they prefer to have staff call into at least their department, because if they call into one number, there's not a guarantee that the department knows that there may be a short staffing issue. So they prefer calling into the department. And it has been working so far the way we've been doing it.
Okay. The part on rest periods, and I guess maybe that might not be the only time I have this question, is just that this has been, this has been reviewed by the union, and this was,
This language, I
This
believe,
part.
was pulled from the union contract,
okay.
if I remember correctly,
rest
for the rest
periods,
periods. Just so that matches for all of the staff in the full building. And since you brought up review by the attorney, I would recommend after we go through all of this again, one more review by the attorney, because there were law updates in January
Yeah.
that we wouldn't have
Yes.
had reviewed.
Sure.
I don't have a suggested change to this, I was just kind of curious. What type of clock-in, clock-out system does the library use? And is it a badge system? And if that's the case, is that going to be integrated into this new key access system? Or will employees have to have 2 badges? I'm just curious about that.
It's not a badge system, it's
Okay.
either a biometric system with fingerprints, or you can do it on your
Okay.
phone or at your
Okay.
desktop. So there are different ways to clock in, but it's not
Okay.
connected to our badges at all.
Okay, all right.
Really?
Mhm.
Yeah, the fob card is only access to the building.
Right, but
and
fingerprint to clock in?
we don't have, I think we have 4 staff in total that use the biometric clock. Most of us use our desktops.
Okay.
So it's not very common. But we have some tenured class or staff that use it, but I think out of the 88 employees that we have now, I think only 4 are utilizing the biometric clock.
Okay.
So
Why do you think it's not utilized more?
I think honestly, it just post-COVID, like security has become a higher concern, and it does record your fingerprint, and it tends to be like a concern for people not wanting to give access to that information. So I think it's just a post-COVID thing, and it's just an outdated approach in general.
Okay.
It's also convenient to be able to use your phone. It is limited to the premises of the library. You're not able to do that outside of library premises as far as clocking in even on your
Yeah.
phone. So we have that safeguard in place.
Is it something like Paylocity or something like that?
Paycom,
We have
use
Paycom.
Paycom.
Yeah, honestly, a lot of similarities to Paylocity.
Okay, all right.
I guess we can move on to pay periods and procedures. Or I guess we can move on until we have a question or comment on something.
I do have a question on page 38, just what's the difference between a part-time employee and a regular part-time employee?
The hours that they work. So a part-time employee, anyone that's under 30 hours is not eligible for medical and fringe benefits.
Okay.
And then any part-time employee who works 30 hours up to 37 hours is eligible for IMRF. Well, IMRF is actually 20 hours or more, but anyone over 30 who is still considered part-time, they are eligible for medical, but not fringe benefits. So
Okay.
that's the only difference between part-time and the regular part-time.
What section is that under?
Page
So-
38.
Page 38.
But the section name?
Oh, let me go back to that. Let's see. So regular, part-time, and part-time employees are paid 2 weeks in arrears.
Okay.
And let me see, I put a note on there for page 38, 37.
I found it. It's under pay periods and procedures. Do you recommend that we outline what Cassandra just explained in this section of the document, the difference
Oh, like
between regular
differentiate.
part-time and part-time?
It brought the question to mind. too,
Which is
because
so
I didn't
fair.
understand.
Yeah, and if you have it,
Yeah,
I'm sure other
that's
people
fair.
have it.
Like, what does it mean?
Dave, I don't want to take your time, but if you're done, I'm happy
Sure,
to
no,
go back
I
to.
just
Okay,
jumped in there.
it looked like you were
Going to
looking
jump.
for something.
No,
Sorry.
I'm good, yeah.
I wanted to go back to compensation and timekeeping, specifically page 36. And this is in regards to meal periods. I know there was a conversation with regards to employees not being required to clock in and out for meals. But I just want to understand under meal periods where we have supervisors may require employees to clock in and out for meal periods if a pattern of exceeding the allotted time is observed. So, how would that work? Because they're not required, on a normal way.
Yeah. So if, for example, the supervisor either notices or gets consistent reports that someone is, and it would usually be significant, right, to be noticed or reported, that someone's not coming back from their break and they're taking 2-hour breaks or something of that nature. At that point, the supervisor may say, I'm getting these reports, so I need you to accurately record your time so that we can track it.
But is that something that happens in real time, or the time periods would be followed up after the fact?
I'm not sure I understand.
Right, so like normally staff don't have to punch in and out.
For
when
lunch.
Right, when
Yeah.
they take their meals. But if the supervisor notices that maybe there's some, whatever you want to call it, discrepancy violations, then they're required to punch in and out. Will the supervisor have access to the time card at that moment?
The supervisors have access to all of their direct reports time cards. And so the way that would happen is essentially a coaching conversation and setting an expectation of, since this has been reported or observed, you now are required to clock in and out. And the supervisor will have access to that as soon as the expectation is put in place.
Got it. Thank you. Nothing further on that point.
Okay, I had a question about the IMRF fund. I don't know what page that is in here because mine's different, but my question is, it says, blah, 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 all employees who are contributing must contribute to IMRF through payroll deductions in an amount determined by statute.
It's 0.045%.
But they can contribute more if they want,
Yes,
right?
they can do
Okay, so that's
voluntary
the
contribution.
minimum.
Yeah, that is the minimum requirement per law, but
Okay.
they are absolutely eligible and, encouraged to do additional contributions if they want to, but they do have to contribute the minimum.
Okay.
Yep.
Should we add VAC in here?
I wouldn't, because that paperwork's given to them upon hire as well, so it's all outlined like
Yeah.
in their onboarding, but I wouldn't, it should be a separate document.
Okay.
I also had a question about the educational assistance, and I think this is what we agreed to when we were doing the union negotiations as a board, that it was going to be offered to full-time employees.
I don't remember what was the conversation at that time.
Okay.
I remember that in negotiations, but I don't know if that's our practice.
So
That's what it says, but
what we've been practicing and what we discussed, because we eventually discussed this for non-union staff as well, because we had one staff member, the session came up at this time, who moved from part-time to full-time.
That's what I'm thinking of, Brad.
And when that happened, we had a discussion, the administrative team, I don't know that we brought it to the board, and I believe we talked to the union about whether full-time had only, whether the 1 year of qualifying only meant full-time for a year, or if you were here for a year and then you moved to full-time.
okay.
And we were more generous and we said, you've been here for a year and now you're full-time, and we offered the benefit. But it is not clearly defined in the wording.
No.
Okay. I'm just like making a mental note to myself about that for later.
Yep.
For professional memberships,
Mhm.
do they choose between ALA and ILA, or do they get both?
We offer both, and they may join other professional organizations as deemed appropriate.
Okay.
Or, I'm sorry, we are in both as a library.
Right.
They choose one or
It's
the
not
other,
clear.
but so far, we have had enough funds to be able to offer both, because it's left at the discretion if people ask for more.
Okay.
But the way that it reads is they can choose either ILA, ALA, or one other professional organization. That's how it's set up in the contract as well.
Okay.
But we've not turned anybody away.
Thank you.
If I may, on holidays, I was under the impression that Juneteenth is a federal holiday. Is
Juneteenth is a federal
It
holiday.
is.
If we have it as a floating holiday.
Oh, that's why it's not on this list here?
Yeah, it's on
Yeah.
the next page.
Okay, okay.
I
got
did
it.
the same thing.
If we're speaking of federal holidays, and I don't know if this is something the committee wants to consider now or bring to the board eventually, but one holiday that is federal that we do not currently recognize is Martin Luther King Day.
But we have Lincoln's birthday as a floating holiday.
Yep, and Juneteenth,
Right. All right. Well, that's something to consider.
agreed. I find it very odd.
I don't know if, I know some libraries in the state of Illinois choose to recognize Lincoln's birthday as opposed to Martin Luther King holiday because of the proximity, like of where the holidays fall. But I personally don't see an issue with offering that as a floating holiday in recognition.
I feel like can I keep going, or you guys want me to?
You know, I did want to jump back to 41.
Okay.
I'm kind
Go
of
ahead,
all
'cause I'm
over the
ahead of
place.
that, yeah.
So, and this is just a small thing that kind of sticks out. It says on page 41, the library does not typically provide any match, okay, for benefits. And
Under what section heading is
it's on
that?
page 41, and
So for retirement, you mean, or?
it is, hang on one second here, I'll find it.
I feel like neither one is mentioned under this.
Here we go, okay. It's in use and scheduling of time. Oh, wait a second, I'm sorry. More time here, it's the wrong section. It's in the match portion here. Go back to 41.
I see it, it's under retirement plan.
Yes,
Yeah, the 457.
okay.
Yeah, we don't match.
We do not match.
Okay, so I have typically, it almost sounds like, hey, well, in some cases we will, but
Okay.
we typically don't do it.
So I'll take
So-
out the word typically,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's so fair. We do offer the IMRF.
We're required to.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there's matching in that though.
Okay, that's,
Okay.
Good catch.
Yeah.
Fair cut.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm in the vacation section.
Okay.
And it was just a thought, like, there's nothing in here about religious holidays. Is that something, and is this also taken from the union contract?
This is, we updated this to incorporate non-union staff as far as the vacation accruals and all of that.
Okay.
We had updated that. Most of it is still taken from the union contract, yes.
So I'm like on the next one where it's like vacation scheduling after the annual process. Just, it's just a thought, like, I don't know if, I guess maybe we don't need to put it in if they're not asking for it, but, you know, if there's any preference given to people who are requesting off for religious holidays or not.
Okay. We've never talked about that, but it is something that we can bring up to the union.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just need to clarify it says for rollover vacation time.
Mhm.
Vacation time shall only accumulate from year to year up to a maximum of 1 year of the employee's annual vacation accrual.
Yeah.
So does that mean they lose that vacation time?
Yeah.
So no, it means that they can they can roll over up to a year. So like let's say an employee is entitled to 2 weeks of vacation. But as far as accrual, so if they have a bank previously and they accrue more than that 2 weeks, they can only roll over the 2 weeks that they're entitled to for the year. And then the rest of it, up to 25%, actually gets paid out at the beginning of next year. So they're only eligible to accrue or to roll over what their yearly accrual amount is. Does that make sense? Because it's hard to explain.
They lose 75% of a payout of anything above
Yeah.
the 1 year accrual.
So it gets, 25. Yeah, but also like take your time. Like it's just more incentive to actually take your time and, exercise work-life balance. So that is the intent behind that kind of a procedure, and it is common in a lot of organizations. Because a lot of times people will just bank that time and then they're not actually taking that time to rest and exercise work-life balance. So that is the intent behind it. But again, if they accrue any more than that, then 25% of that amount over that year does get paid out.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
And in that same section, on that same page, it talks about the whole November, December, I guess, if you have December off this year, then,
Yeah.
somebody else, can get it next year. And I guess that's tracked by the supervisors.
Yes.
So I don't know if the supervisor leaves, it seems like there might be a better way to do that. I don't know, but
It does
as Roberto
also
said, if it
show,
works, that's fine.
it does also show who took leave in our payroll system. We can track that.
Okay,
Because people still have to put in for their vacation.
okay.
And if there is ever such a question that comes up and a supervisor leaves, we can assist with that by going through payroll.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. It just seems like a nightmare to keep track of. It really does.
Yeah.
And
It can be challenging. Our teams are usually really good about communicating not only with their supervisor, but with each other. So we haven't seen conflict in this area.
yeah.
Yeah.
How about when it's sick leave, and there's no language in there about mental health days either?
It's encompassed. I mean, you can
Yeah.
you can absolutely take sick time for a mental leave day, or and then there's also FMLA as well. And that's usually like if someone's taking an extensive amount of leave for like medical or mental health, behavior issues, behavioral health, stuff like that. Like that would fall under FMLA as well.
We generally do not ask why someone is
cannot,
taking
yeah.
sick leave.
Even if it's just for a day, right?
If it's just
Yeah.
for a day, we don't ask. Sometimes we will ask for proof of illness, depending upon whether there's a pattern of use or whether, like, for example, there might have been a holiday and then someone calls in sick the next day. Sometimes you might ask for proof in that type of situation, which you can get proof for behavioral health as well as any other type of health. So it's all falls under the same thing. do have my own question, because I wasn't here when this was determined, related to no carryover of personal days on page 52. Our policy currently says personal days must be used before December 15th, and I would recommend that we allow it through December 31st. Because it's the same year.
Yeah, I did notice that was weird. Yeah, we can put that in.
I agree.
Does the committee agree?
Yeah, I know, and I'll just share this from the 15th to the end of the year, usually a lot of people take off.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that at least in the departments where I work, they stick very firmly to the 15th, because then people, you wind up with not sufficient staff during the last 2 weeks. So I'm in favor of keeping it the way it is, but if there's a need to change it, I'm okay with the change as well.
Okay. I understand what you're saying, and that could be relevant to any type of paid time off, like Larry.
Right.
Yeah.
But it would be subject to supervisor's approval still, right? So they would be paying attention to the,
Yeah, we pay attention to operational needs.
Yeah, that goes for any time off, so.
I wouldn't see a problem with changing it. I mean, that's fine. I understand Roberto's point completely, because everybody's trying to, get that Christmas time off. But
Yeah,
if it's managed well and it's not an issue, then by all means.
yeah.
It's a little more flexibility for.
Yeah, I mean, it puts a burden now on the employer, where as it stands, the burden is on the employee, because now they have to manage their time until the 15th. And, when you drop a bomb on the employer, then that's where headaches come about. But, I mean, if there's some flexibility there, I'm okay with it.
I'm in favor of 30th.
What do you think, Cassandra?
I agree with the 31st.
On 30th.
Yeah, because I think, again, I think the way that it gets approved it's the same regardless of the code, so.
It's always a fun payroll at the end of the year.
The best one.
Something that a couple of staff have asked me to mention, although I have not been able to find the old policy to verify how this worked, is that for longevity, in addition to longevity pay, people have asked about getting additional days off.
What do you mean?
They have asked me about that they used to get either some type of merit benefit or longevity benefit where we could give additional days off. And I have actually seen, this is something that I've talked about a little bit with admin, but nothing seriously. It's just something I'd like the committee to think about, is being able to give days off as a potential merit reward, because it doesn't cost us money. But for
Give me an
example, if you get, we're not going to do employee of the month, but if in my former job we had employee of the month, you got an additional day off. Like, it was kind of a benefit without having to cost the organization money. So if there were ways we could consider or even give authority that we could do that.
But are you saying that for people who have been here for a certain amount of years?
For years of
So say,
service.
you're here
Yeah.
for 5 years, now you get an extra day off just this 1 year for something, or?
That's what I understand it to be. I'm going to look into it further, what the past policy was, but that's something that staff have mentioned to me. And I'll bring that back to the committee next time we meet.
So I think the union has isn't it like 1 to 4 years, it's 2 weeks, and then 4 to 10 years, it's an additional week. I think there is a tier.
Well, we have that here in our
Okay,
vacation
you're saying
accruals.
just additional days?
Additional
Okay, I
days,
see what you're saying.
additional
Like a reward
personal
or something.
days as
Got
kind of
it.
either a merit reward or a longevity reward that year, from what I understand.
In addition to the pay.
And,
Okay,
yeah.
I see what you're saying.
So, I'll see I'll get more information on exactly how the
Yeah.
practice used to be.
So I know in the past they did compensation, but it was not as generous as we have now.
And we do have the longevity compensation.
Yeah, it's just
So-
a higher amount than what they were paying in the past. I don't know if they actually had days off as merit in the past, so that would be new. I'm sure people would really enjoy that. I know I would.
Well, especially now with one of the goals of the strategic plan being focused on staff and supporting staff. One of the things, like I said, that I had in a past job that I really appreciated was being able to award or get awarded an additional personal day for XYZ. Whether it was from staff engagement, like, hey, you helped with this outreach program or these 3 outreach programs, but it might be hard to draw the parameters on what gets that award type of thing. So it's something worth thinking about. Have you seen it in any other of your workplaces? No? Okay.
Well, it's more tiered.
You haven't seen it, Roberto,
No.
in anything? Okay.
No, I mean, but I know that a free day, it's always welcome.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've seen it as like employee engagement before,
Mhm.
where it's like, oh, like if you win this raffle, you get a free day off,
Yeah.
but I know that's something we've been against when it's been brought up.
Well, it's
so.
something we've been talking about, but we don't have parameters for it.
Yeah.
So,
Did you get through the whole manual?
Up to, I think, page 67
Okay.
is where we went to. That's
Oh,
what we
okay.
set. The last
All right,
time, we said up to communication, page 68.
Okay,
That's
thank
where we
you.
went to. And on all of the other stuff, I really like in the benefits section, I really don't have any comments on that. I mean,
Yeah. That's a good thing.
they're fairly standard and
yeah, it's,
pretty comprehensive, which is really nice.
This was a much easier section.
Yes.
So there's not much. I do have one last item
Sure.
with regards to the library cards.
Mm-hmm.
Now, are employees required to have it or not?
No.
And so the reason why I say this is because I think it's a good idea for them to be required because
They fill out
It-
paperwork on it though.
yeah, I thought, like, it'll increase our numbers. It's a number, but,
It is coded differently though.
oh,
So because we have patron cards and then we have staff cards, so the way that it reads in like, I think Polaris, I don't know what the system is, but it is a different code. Upon hire, they do fill out paperwork. So everyone is generated a library card upon hire. Now, if they choose to use it or not, that's up to them, but they are issued a card as a new hire. But it is coded as a staff card versus a patron card.
Okay, gotcha.
And then, upon departure, if they are Niles residents, which we have actually a lot of staff who are Niles residents, and so the code gets changed to a patron, so that would increase our numbers. But as far as like thinking of it as like a conversion metric, like I wouldn't count on that. But they are issued cards as new hires just upon hire.
got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
There's one benefit in the union contract that we haven't discussed for non-union employees, and it's the bilingual pay. We have a couple of staff, specifically in administration, that would qualify and have been assisting with bilingual services. And so I would be interested in being able to offer that benefit to all staff and not just union staff.
Yeah. It's a $30 incentive per pay period for, and we do have a list of staff, I think about 14 staff that are bilingual or speak different languages, and as Valerie was saying, they do support in translation and interpretation for our patrons. Lisa and Margaret primarily have helped immensely, especially Lisa, especially during business hours. She's been able to help patrons, so I think it would be fair to offer it.
Does it work like, do they get it every pay period no matter what?
Yes.
Yep,
Okay, whether they're doing it or not.
yeah.
Yes.
I think that's a good idea. I know of a person who worked at the Secretary of State office, and she informally acted as a translator for
Yeah.
a lot of the
I
customers.
believe that.
And then they hired someone specifically for that, and there was a big thing because
Okay.
now they're paying somebody
Uh-huh.
to do something that she provided
For free.
for free,
Yep.
and they ended up making restitution for us. I just think it's a good practice to say, hey, you know, that's a plus that you're doing for the library, so we'd like to, you know, give you a
It's such a
stipend or
valuable
something.
skill.
Yeah.
It really is. And the reason, there are some libraries that either have you take an assessment or require you to track your hours, but the reason why I am not in favor of that is because you don't know when you're going to be called upon to help or for what reason. And we have a list of people with different languages. You don't know also which language you'll need at any
Or
given
who's going to be
time.
there at what time.
Or who's
Correct.
going to be
Yeah.
there, so.
Very true.
And it's not fair if other people are getting it and they're not getting it.
Mhm.
Agreed. Lisi's brought it up. No, I'm just kidding.
Both Margaret and Lacey have assisted, and we also have at least one department head who has assisted in another language
That's
as
really
well.
nice.
Yeah.
I would like getting that in my own situation. I don't get that. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of these things where it is controversial when it comes up because it's a matter of how often do you do it, and if somebody's getting by with doing it once every 3 months, is it fair to the other folks that are doing it on a daily basis? And so I'll share with you with what I know has been done is that they get tested, number one, to see if they meet minimum requirements. And they have to do it at minimum 20% of the workday. And if they don't meet that 20%, then they don't qualify for that, to be able to do that. And then it has to be a front of service.
Front-facing.
So that's a criteria that I know is used statewide, but I mean, we're the board, so we can set up any criteria we
Seems
want.
like 20% is a lot.
That's very high, and that'd be hard to
That's just
track
high.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the way they track it is literally there's a log where you put in, and if you meet the threshold, then the way the state compensates, it's $100 per pay period or 5% of your salary, whichever is higher.
Oh, wow.
Dang.
Well, I can understand those parameters a little bit more for that.
Gotta get
higher
my
percentage
Duolingo.
as well.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of staff that, like we said, that are in the back offices and they're being called to do it on occasion.
Are they
Yeah.
self-tracking it on that log though? Who's tracking it?
Yeah, the payroll. It's a form that gets sent out to payroll. And then they record the number of hours, so. And then it has to, of course, have to have supervisor signature.
Okay,
and
okay,
dates.
so there's authorization. Interesting.
Yeah.
It is interesting.
But I mean, if it's something that's gonna help incentivize our staff, and we have the budget for it,
And the
we
union.
would,
Yeah,
it would be up to us.
the way the union treats it too, like we would just be following their same protocol, because they're not, the union's not tracking how many hours or, they're not tracking it like that. They just want to know who.
Well, that would be an employer responsibility
Yeah.
if it came down to it. If we chose to implement something, I'm sure that would be part of discussions with the union. But as far as our parameters for it, we would be the ones to say, hey, for the budget that this is costing, this is what we need. But what I'm saying is it is more of a benefit to leave it as a blanket.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think it's, getting compensation for an extra skill that not everybody has is fair
Yeah.
and just.
Agreed.
And I think when patrons come in, even if you get someone on staff who might not be, who maybe is like me, like I understand everything you're saying to me, and I know what I want to say back to you, but it doesn't come out of my mouth the right way anymore, it's better than nothing, and they're happy to get that, even if it's not, someone who might be able to pass a test. I don't know. I think for what we're paying for it and what we're what the staff is doing, I think is fair.
Now, if it was $100.
Yeah,
I'm
that would be.
Or 5%.
Yeah, like, we're gonna track it.
And it is hard, like, you know, if somebody comes in, you know, speaking from my own experience, I have somebody that comes in and asks for me every single time. And sometimes they tell us, oh, she's not here today. But you're like, there might not be anybody available, or there might be someone available who is great at it, or who isn't great at it. It just depends on the day, so it's.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
It's
you
good
could be-
to know
yeah.
you can call on someone and that they're being compensated for it when you ask for their help, for their expertise.
Yeah, I think we should bring that back.
Okay.
Awesome. Great.
I didn't have anything else on me.
That's everything I have.
This was the easier section for
Yeah.
us.
It is.
It's fairly standard, so,
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah. Okay.
Okay, and that was through page 68, correct? Just so I
Yes.
can make sure where I'm starting from.
And the new section that we're going to be looking at is called communication and confidentiality.
Through the end,
Through
right?
the
Do we
end.
agree?
Through the
Yeah.
end.
Okay. All right. So maybe let's pick a date for our next meeting. Let's see. Our March regular meeting is the 18th.
And we're also trying to schedule a finance committee meeting in March, if possible.
So do we want to maybe wait until,
So the dates that we have for the finance committee are, it's either the 19th or the 25th. And I did indicate for a preference for the 19th,
of which month?
March.
Okay.
So, I mean, and that only ties up the three of us, right? So, I mean, for the personnel meeting. So there's, I mean, at least with my schedule at this time, I'm open.
Mhm.
Who else is in the finance?
For Suzanne and Kathy.
Okay, I'm sorry, I forgot who else was in
Mhm.
that. Okay. Just curious.
Yep.
And I will be out of town the 26th through April 2nd. So I can't do anything after the 25th.
Where are you going?
To see family.
That's nice.
I will tell you outside of the recording.
Just kidding.
Is anyone opposed to waiting until April 1st or that week of April 1st? Or March 30th?
That's fine with me.
The 30th is better for me.
Okay.
Do you want me to, do we have consensus on the 30th?
March 30th?
I will be
Yeah,
out of
sure.
town
Oh, you'll be
until
out of town.
April 2nd.
That's right, sorry.
April 2nd. Oh,
Okay. Thank you for repeating that. Okay, how about, I don't want to go before that. How about the week of, after Easter then, the week of April 5th?
Sounds good.
I'm open.
Which evening works the best?
Wednesdays has
Wednesday's
worked
still
out
good?
pretty good so far, yeah.
yeah, I'm good for the
All right,
8th.
that's the 8th, okay. So Wednesday, April 8th at 7 PM. Okay. Is there other on the agenda?
There is other.
Does
on the
anyone have other?
I don't.
Nope.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
What time is it?
7:47.